Fortress Investment Group LLC is an American investment management firm based in New York City. The company went public on February 9, 2007. As of December 2012, the firm managed alternative assets in private equity, liquid hedge funds and credit funds. History: Fortress Investment Group LLC was founded as a private equity firm in 1998 by Wesley R. Edens, a former partner at BlackRock Financial Management, Incorporated. Robert Kaufman, a managing director of UBS. And Randall A. Nardun, also a managing director of UBS. Fortress quickly expanded into hedge funds, real estate-related investments and debt securities, run by Michael Novogratz and Pete Brigger, both former partners at Goldman Sachs. Fortress Investment Group's investments grew rapidly, with its private equity funds netting 39.7% between 1999 and 2006. As of July 16, 2013, Fortress Investment Group had four core businesses totaling approximately $55.6 billion of assets under management: private equity, credit, liquid markets and traditional asset management. In 2012, revenue rose in each of the last three quarters. In fourth quarter of the same year, revenue rose 51.2% to $441.1 million, while the figure rose 99.5% in the third quarter of that year from the year earlier and 13.8% in the second quarter of 2012. Portfolio companies: in 2006, Fortress Managed Funds acquired Canadian ski resort operator Introist. Introist is North America's largest operator of ski resorts and also operates luxury adventure travel brands, including Abercrombie & Kent. On November 15, 2006, Rail America Incorporated announced that a Fortress-managed fund would acquire the company, offering $16.35 per share. The transaction was completed in February 2007. Fortress later sold Rail America via initial public offering in October 2009. On May 8, 2007, Florida East Coast Industries, parent company of Florida East Coast Railway, announced that following a unanimous vote of the FECI Board of Directors, a Fortress-managed fund would acquire FECI in a transaction valued at $3.5 billion. The Surface Transportation Board approved the transaction in September 2007. Although Rail America operated FEC for a time, the two were never merged, and after the Rail America IPO, Fortress retained FEC. On June 15, 2007, Fortress announced it would partner with Centerbridge Partners to acquire Penn National Gaming, an operator of casinos and horse racing venues, for $6.1 billion. Penn National shareholders were to receive $67 cash for each share. It was announced on July 3, 2008, that Fortress had backed away from the agreement amid weakness in the economy and financial markets. Under the termination agreement, Penn National receives $1.475 billion, consisting of a breakup fee of $225 million and an interest-free $1.25 billion loan from Fortress, Centerbridge, Wachovia and Deutsche Bank. Fortress co-chairman Wesley Edens assumes a seat on the board of Penn National as part of the agreement. Fortress has taken several of its portfolio companies public, such as Aircastle Limited, Brookdale Senior Living Incorporated, GUG4 and Rail America, Incorporated. Fortress has said it lost $125 million purchasing fraudulent promissory notes from fraudster Mark Dreyer, who was operating a Ponzi scheme. Fortress has filed a lawsuit against Laffirmed Shirt in an attempt to recover the loss. The lawsuit was filed in New York State Court, alleging Shirt issued a false legal opinion letter that Dreyer used to defraud Fortress. Fortress's private equity investment portfolio includes Aircastle Limited, Alia Group Holdings Limited, Amesco, Boxcover, Brookdale Senior Living Incorporated, Capstead Mortgage Corporation, CW Financial Services, Eurocastle Investment Limited, Flagler, Florida East Coast Railway, GUG4, Gatehouse Media, Incorporated, Global Signal, Incorporated, Greentree Servicing LLC, Holiday Retirement, Introist, Atal Fondiario, Kramer Junction, Rapelli Limited, MBS Holdings, Ms. Hub, Nation Star Mortgage LLC, Penn National Gaming, Incorporated, Prime Retail, Rail America, Incorporated, RESG, Sia Castle Incorporated, Simon Storage, Springleaf Financial and Umami Burger. On January 21, 2014, Fortress Investment Group was the winning bidder for the assets of the Montreal, Maine and Atlantic Railway, a line bankrupted after the July 6, 2013 LACMA copyright Gantic derailment of a runaway train loaded with crude oil obliterated much of historic downtown LACMA copyright Gantic, Quebec and incinerated 47 of the local town folk. In March 2014, Johnny Giles of Great Lakes Partners estimated a $10 a euro 20 million investment would be needed over 3 years to repair the line, which Fortress brands as the Central Maine and Quebec Railway, as it is in poor condition and currently not safe for the transport of oil or dangerous goods. The sale was completed on May 15, 2014, for USD $15.85 million. Controversies. In 2006, Fortress paid Senator John Edwards, candidate for the 2008 Democratic Party nomination for president, and the 2004 nominee for vice president, $479,512 for his consulting services, a part-time job. The November 19, 2007 edition of the Wall Street Journal reported Edwards had invested $16 million in Fortress. Also in 2006, Fortress acquired Introist in a leveraged buyout. 3 weeks before the opening of the 2010 Olympics, Fortress failed to make payment on its loan used to buy out Introist. This caused its creditors to force Introist to divest itself of several of its resort holdings in 2009 and 2010, which includes Whistler Blackcomb, in order to reduce its debt load. Fortress loaned the controversial animal testing company Huntingdon Life Sciences around $70 million in 2006. This was later discovered by the animal rights group SHAC, which exists to exert pressure on and close HLS. In 2011, Fortress dropped all ties with HLS. During the Rail America ownership, rail fans criticized both Rail America and Fortress Investment Group for an increased number of abandonments on several short lines. The most notorious example, the Central Oregon and Pacific's Coos Bay line, is saved from abandonment unlike other lines. Fortress Investment Group has backed a German patent holding firm Itcom GmbH & Company KG. This firm is now suing Nokia for patent infringement for $17.77 billion. Fortress Investment Group was the primary lender to Millennium Development Group for building the $875 million Athletes Village for the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, British Columbia. Financial instability in September 2008 saw Fortress Investment Group reportedly at the brink of bankruptcy. Consequently, Fortress was unable to provide further financing to Millennium, forcing the city of Vancouver to pay approximately $450 million to complete the project in time for the Winter Olympic Games. The village was completed in November 2009 and may yet realize its potential after the Olympics. The city of Vancouver applied for and received legislative approval from the province of BC to borrow as much money as required to enable the project to complete. Anti-Olympic groups had spoken out against the legislative change because they believed that Fortress Investment would remain the owner of the village after the 2010 Winter Olympics. Response to 2008 economic crisis. In the wake of the economic downturn of 2008, Forbes included Wesley Edens among its biggest billionaire losers of 2008, noting that Edens had watched his fortune dwindle as investor redemptions soared at the company's flagship fund. Fortress and its principals were featured in an April 2009 Vanity Fair article on the adverse economic conditions facing hedge funds. References. External links. Fortress Investment Group official website, Yahoo! A Fortress Investment Group company profile.